ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः द्वन्द्वानि सर्वाण्यखिला त्रिपुट्यः किञ्चित् समाश्रित्य विभान्ति वस्तु तन्मार्गणे स्याद् गलितं समस्तं न पश्यतां सच्चलनं कदापि विद्या कथं भाति न चेदविद्या विद्यां विना किं प्रविभात्य विद्या द्वयं च कस्येति विचार्य मूल स्वरूपनिष्ठा परमार्थविद्या बोद्धारमात्मानमजानतो यः बोधः किं स्यात् परमार्थबोधः बोधस्य बोध्यस्य च संशयं स्वं विजानतस्तद्वितीयं विनश्येत् निद्रा न विद्या ग्रहणं न विद्या गृह्णाति किञ्चिन्न यथार्थबोधे निद्रा पदार्थग्रहणेतरा स्यात् चिदेव विद्या विलसन्त्यशून्या सत्यश्चिदात्मा विविधा कृतिश्चित् सिद्ध्येत् पृथक् सत्यचितो न भिन्ना भूषा विकारा किमु सन्ति सत्यं विना सुवर्णं पृथगत्र लोके तद्युष्मदोरस्मदि सम्प्रतिष्ठा तस्मिन् विनष्टे स्मदिमूलबोधात् तद्युष्मदस्मन्मतिवर्जितैका स्थितिर्ज्वलन्ती सहजात्मनः स्यात् भूतं भविष्यच्च भवत्स्वकाले तद्वर्तमानस्य विहाय तत्त्वं हास्यान् किं स्याद् गतभावि चर्चा विनैकसङ्ख्यां गणनेव लोके क्व भाति दिक्कालकथा विनास्मान् दिक्काललीलेह वपुर्वयञ्चेत् न क्वापि भामो न कदापि भामः वयं तु सर्वत्र सदा च भामः Our stories. And what are those stories? Those stories are fixed very much in time and in place. Without time and place, there is nothing to talk about. Even if you talk to somebody and then you say, "Oh, I just called you," and you didn't answer. And what will the other person say? When? When? What time? What date? And then, oh, at that time I was doing this and I was away from the phone and I couldn't hear the phone. So the where is very important. Where, what happened, and the what is also important. And the place and the time, they are actually, in a sense, tyrannical. The tyranny of place and time. But then, if you look at time, as we did in the last verse, what is time? It's a big spoof. Oh, I have no time, I have no time, I have no time. Who, time is not something that you get in the marketplace and then you collect it and then you keep it at home. That's not what time is. And in fact, in the olden days, there was no such thing called, oh, I'm getting late for the office. There were no offices. People just produce something. The basket maker's family would all get together and make the baskets. And then once a week on the market day, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, whichever day that it was, in their village, in their township. This was all over the world, it was the same. Even though there are differences in culture, everything, more or less the same. On market day, they would take the baskets that they had made with bamboo, with what is that, coconut, palm leaves, whatever it was. And all the baskets would be taken, sold, and with that money, they would buy food. They would buy more, what should I say, more leaves for to make more baskets and then come home. And so this is how it was. Nobody's, even now in rural India, nobody says, I don't have time. The whole concept of time is very, very different, extremely different. And all that they know is, okay, this is, this is somewhat, this is how it is, that, that this whole rushing for things is not really recommended anywhere. And this rushing is all part of Kali Yuga, where the person is confused because of lack of priorities. And then what happens is that, we have all the yugas depicted, what is that called? From the, uh, what is that animal called? Bull. The bull is standing there. It's called the Dharma Rishabha, Dharma Rishabha. So this Dharma Rishabha is there, the Dharma bull is there. And what is this Dharma bull? In Satya Yuga, it is standing squarely on four legs, as a bull is supposed to. In Treta Yuga, then it is standing on three legs. Because it is a dharma bull, and in Treta Yuga there is one fourth less dharma than there was in Satya Yuga. In Dwapara Yuga, the poor bull is balanced on two legs, like that. The dharma is even less. Half the dharma of the Satya Yuga exists in Dwapara Yuga, and then finally in Kali Yuga, somehow miraculously, the bull is balanced on one leg. Maybe it's leaning against a wall. We don't know, because how else can it stand up? And so this is, this is how it stands. This is exactly how it, mm, that has devolved. The whole yugas have devolved. And that's why we do not have what is called a cyclical concept of time. From Kali Yuga, we cannot go back to Satya Yuga. Impossible. Because that much from zero dharma to four legs of dharma, you cannot go. So therefore, you have to go back to Dwapara Yuga and then Treta Yuga and then work your way back to Satya Yuga. So we have a pendular concept of time. Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. Kali, Dwapara, Treta, Satya. So like those big grandfather clocks of yore, the pendulum used to go this way. So we have a pendular concept of time. And so, but again, this is also very interesting because in the Kali Yuga, everybody is confused, and then dharma is blind, cannot see, and then the one that can see is taking it down the wrong road. Like this, there are so many stories. And then so like this, so dharma cannot see. Dharma is sitting on the back of the jiva who is going to take it on the road of on the road somewhere to its destination. And that road, this person always chooses the shortcut and the not very honest ways and not very what's the word for it, righteous path. So in Kali Yuga, the punishment, so to speak, the lessons are instantaneous. Not so much punishment, but the lessons are instantaneous. What is the lesson? The primary lesson here is to grow into just, relaxing, into understanding this truth of oneself. But instead, one is always in a rush. And, Bhagavan in the form of time is not understood. Time is seen as something that I produce and I am worthwhile. And that's why in Western countries, one is paid by the hour. 1 hour you get so much. And then naturally one will think, oh, if I work for, 100 hours a week. Think about how much I'll get. 1 hour, I'm getting so much. So let me work a little more, little more, little more. And like that story, I think it was Leo Tolstoy's story. How much land? This was not about Kala, but it was about Desha, space. It was a space story. How much land does a person need? How much land does a man need? That was the story. And then there was one czar. I forgot which czar it was, but anyhow, the story, there's the czar, and the czar tells one man comes and says, I need a little bit of land. Can you please give me some land? And the czar said, yeah, yeah. Why don't you run? As much as land as you can cover, it is yours, free. And the man runs, 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 runs. Then he thinks of his wife and runs some more because she'll have expected him to run a little more. Then he thinks of his children, all of them, and then he runs a little more. Then he thinks of his grandchildren who are not yet born, of course, but then he nonetheless thinks of them, and then he runs a little bit more. Then he thinks of his, great grandchildren, great grandchildren, great grandchildren. Then if you run like this, like a madman, what will happen? The person had a heart attack, the man had a heart attack and died right there. And the Tsar was watching this. I think he must have been a little bit little bit wild, some kind of a sadistic fellow. He was watching him run, and then when he dropped down dead, he called the undertakers to measure him and said, okay, 5 foot 10 inches, that much land, give it to him, because that is the land he is able to cover. So it's like that. It's this mad, mad rush. And that tyranny of time and the scarcity of space. And you can put it the other way around also. The scarcity of time and the tyranny of space, as a civilization, one has purchased. One has purchased, bought into this, completely purchased into this. And so what happens as a result? A lot of difficulties, because that shines as real. And so I am worth so much only if I work in this way for this much time. So that is how. So the time is very much tethered to money and status and all kinds of things. And so therefore it is very, very difficult to get out of this tyranny. And so therefore what? So therefore the whole thing is extreme. It's fraught with a lot of difficulty, the life. So one is reproducing samsara every single day. One is turning the jagat into samsara repeatedly by buying into this scarcity of time and space. And yet these are part of our stories. So when somebody cries, one goes to a friend and says, oh, I have no time at all. Oh my God, I'm so busy, I have no time. And the friend commiserates and says, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. My life is also like that. So we take it for granted that this is how we have to live. I mean, where is the time for Brahman? Where is the time to sit? Where is the time to just smell a flower, appreciate what it looks like on the bush? Where is the time? I mean, one may take a walk, and then I see people going on walks, but they also have to do this, have to do this, have only this much time, I have to run, get this over with. What do you get out of this? Oh, I have to come back, I have to do this, I don't have time. You have to squeeze in a walk. And so this, gives into this rampant scarcity mentality. And then as a result, the not only is there no introspection, but not only is there no introspection, but even any chance for there to be a breakthrough. I mean, we are not even talking of Paramarthika level. We are not talking of Satchidananda at all. We are just talking even in the day-to-day level of whatever you enjoy doing on the transactional level. it is robbed of creativity. Even there, for there to be something creative come out, there has to be some space. And that space, this is one problem. The second problem is, one thinks that somebody is going to hand me that space and that time on a platter. Here, shabash, you deserve this, take this. It's not going to happen. You have to value yourself enough to slow down, enough to take this. You have to do that. Not anybody else. Nobody else can do that for you. You have to do that. You have to be on the upfront here and at least be in touch with yourself enough to say, oh, I'm really not in touch with myself. Even to say that, you have to be a little bit in touch with yourself. Even to say, I think I'm not in touch with myself, when you say, that means you are observing that you're not in touch with yourself. That means you are in touch with yourself a tiny bit. So even to do that, there needs to be some space. So therefore, what? Therefore, one has to radically rewrite this story. Because space and time, from the standpoint of Vedanta, are imaginary. बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महा योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्य antari iva ankurah. So this jagat is like a possibility. The unmanifest jagat is just like a possibility of a sprout that is hidden in the seed before it is manifest. When it is manifest along with time and along with space. And just like everything, every name and form is kalpita, as good as imaginary. Why as good as imaginary? Because its reality is you. You are the one giving it its reality. So mithya, imaginary means mithya here. So this is, you are the one giving it its reality. And so therefore what? Therefore, Mayavi Iva. So this Ishvara is like a magician. Vijrimbati, throws this whole universe, tosses this universe into the air, so to speak. Like one of those Italian chefs who make this pizza and throw it into the air, with a few toppings. Some of the toppings are time and space. Okay, that time and space is also a very important toppings. And then, and so, Swechaya means at will. Unto that teacher of teachers, unto that teacher incarnate, Lord Dakshinamurti, unto that teacher I bow. This is the shloka. This is what it is. And this is time and space are a product of Maya, just like everything else is a product of Maya. But here, it's not just Vikshepa Shakti of Maya. And along with Maya's Vikshepa Shakti, I have internalized this as true. So there is also my projection along with the projection of time in the world. Time divided into day and night, time divided into seasons. These are all perceptible. Along with that, there is my own projection of what that means. Starting with, oh, winter is coming. Okay, so what? Nights are going to be longer. Okay, so what? Let them be longer, sleep little longer, or do some japa if you can't sleep. No, no, no. I have to save daylight. So we are going to go 1 hour ahead. See, that itself is kalpita. It's so imaginary. Who decided that? When? And why? And then 100 years later, now they are saying, oh, it is injurious to the heart. And each time you jump forward and then spring back and then fall back, spring forward, whatever it is. And then that is very injurious. And people older than 70 get all these heart attacks, and it's the worst time for, the cardio issues. But then who got us into this situation? We ourselves got us into this situation. And then we started to charge for space. So this is, per square foot. Square foot is just 12 inches by 12 inches, as big as a bathroom tile. Okay, that is a square foot. And then that's all it is. And then so per square foot, it is going to cost this much in New York, and that much somewhere else, and in Mumbai, and that much somewhere else. Who decided all this? It's so arbitrary. It's all imaginary. Somebody is making a lot of money and having a lot of free time in all this. This much we know. Some people are doing that. While the rest of us, gullible people, we are buying into all this in the civilization and doing all kinds of, and altering our lives in order to go along with these shenanigans. Horrible. And so, therefore, this is how we lead our lives. And this is, Pujya Swamiji visited somebody in Mumbai who had purchased a flat. Griha Pravesham, housewarming ceremony. Swamiji, please come. Okay, he said. And then so he said, okay, this concept of flat at that time was very new. Okay. And people in the rural areas and small towns found the idea of apartments quite flat. It did not really resonate with them. They thought, what is this? But anyhow, this flat had this building had 6 or 7 stories, and this person was somewhere in the middle, third story, third floor, fourth floor, something like that. So then Swamiji entered, and some pleasantries were exchanged. And the last thing the couple who invited Swamiji were expecting was a Vedanta talk, a Vedanta class. But that is what happened. Swamiji asked him, so, do you own the land? No, 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 Swamiji, I don't own the land. That belongs to the cooperative society which has built these flats. None of the flat owners own the land. Oh, okay. So do you own the floor of this flat? The square footage for which you have paid of this flat? No. Why? Because the floor is the ceiling of the fellow downstairs. Okay, so do you own the top? No, no, no. That is the that is the floor of the fellow upstairs. So do you own the walls? No, no, the outer walls belong to the society because that's what is the building. The load bearing walls are all part of the building, so they all belong to the cooperative society, which is what has built this flat. So then Swamiji concluded, okay, I get it now. You just own the space, some air. You just own the air around this area. That's all it is. And you pay for the air through the nose, which is already free, really. And so, like this, we have purchased into this. We have bought into this kind of a very, this endemically wrong system where which contributes to extra tension, stress, scarcity, shortage, feeling overwhelmed, and the whole host of things. And so therefore the our stories have are integrally linked to the concepts of space and time. This is the first part of the first pada of the shloka. Kva bhati? How will it shine? What? Dikkala katha vina asman. The dikkala katha vina asman kva bhati? So how will our stories shine without the space and time? How will those stories shine? Meaning, they will not shine at all. And then what? Vapur vayam means if. So if indeed, if we were to identify with the body, we shouldn't say if. When we identify with the body, then what happens? Whenever we identified whenever we are identified with the body, then the play of time and space, both of them start. Deshakala Vyavahara starts. And that is called Dikkala Leela. Sharira Abhimanah Chet Dikkala Leela Arambha. Then we fight with one another for space. Then we say we don't have time. And then we are also fighting against ourselves for time. Why? Because the body is aging. That is the ravages of time. And then we are fighting against time, trying to make this body infinite. And then the body which is already finite, we are trying to make it infinite. And so we are fighting against this. We are fighting against old age. We are fighting against disease. We are fighting against worries. And we want more space. And then we want to, we all these kinds of things. This is completely we are under the tyranny of this Dik and Kala. So the Sharira Abhimana, this body taken to be I, that is the problem. Sharira Abhimanaschet, then Dikkala Leela Arambha. So then, wherever the I is identified with the concepts of space and time, that is where samsara is. That is where problems are. So instead of tackling the space and time issue, tackle the ahankara, very easy. Tackle the ahankara, make the ahankara, in line with whatever is taught. And so that is the ahankara is there. The Agnyana ahankara, the ahankara that is identified with deha, etc., is what should I say, unlettered, means it is not enlightened about its own nature. So then further he says, Nakvapi bhamaha, nakadapi bhamaha, meaning we don't exist in a particular place or at a particular time. This is important. It's a very important message this verse has. And he says we don't, exist in a particular place or at a particular time. Why do we not exist in a particular place or at a particular time? Because we are all pervasive. It's nice that it's a collective verse here. He uses the we to kind of pull the readers into this whole understanding, because there is some kind of a collectively agreed upon sense of the tyranny of space and time. So that's why he uses the collective pronoun we. And so then, so the ahankara needs to be tackled, because that is the cause of deha abhimana. And so, and for that, that is an expression of atma ajnanam. Atma ajnanam means what? Self ignorance. And that's why the self ignorance has to be tackled, and therefore one makes space. One makes space, one makes time. Really, this is very, very crucial. Otherwise, you just, hurry up and what? Wait. That's all one is doing. Hurry up and wait. That's what I want to get there first. Why? So that I can hurry up and then wait. And so this is, and then we don't shine in a particular place. We don't exist in a particular time. So that means what? Vayam tu sarvatra sadacha bhamaha ityarthaha. We shine everywhere and at all the time. We don't shine in a particular place or anywhere. As Atma, we shine everywhere. Atma is there. From Atma, space is born and time is born. Time is a product of as though product of Atma. Space is an as though product of Atma. And so it is Nityaha. We have just studied this in the Bhagavad Gita. Nityaha Sarvagataha Sthanuhu Achalaha Sanatanaha. We have seen all that. And so therefore, this is something which really needs to be tackled. Further, देहात्मभावे ज्ञजडौ समानौ एकस्य देहे हृदि दीप्त आत्मा देहात्मभावे ज्ञजडौ समानौ एकस्य देहे हृदि दीप्त आत्मा आक्रम्य देहञ्च जगच्च पूर्णः परस्य मेयं तनुमात्रमात्मा आक्रम्य देहञ्च जगच्च पूर्णः परस्य मेयं तनुमात्रमात्मा देहात्म भावे. In the matter of experiencing a body, a particular body as oneself, as supposing, if I am in pain, let us say I have some back pain, then I am the one experiencing the pain, right? I'm not thinking everybody is experiencing the same pain. That pain is for me. And so then, if I have back pain, then I put some balm, tiger balm or something. Then I don't put the balm on somebody else. I put it on my back because that is where the pain is. Or if somebody has sprained the leg, then they will put it on the tiger balm or iodex, whatever it is, they will put it on the leg, and then that pain will go. So here, that this body with reference to Dehatma Bhava here doesn't mean identifying with the body. It means experiencing a particular body as I. This is called Dehatma Bhava. So Dehatma Bhave, with reference to experiencing a particular body as oneself, meaning as different from the experience of body A, body B, body C, etc. Dehatma Bhave, Gyaha and Jadaha, Gyascha, Jadascha, Gyajadau. Gyaha means knower. Janati iti Gyaha. Kim Janati? Kam Janati Atmanam Janati iti Gyaha. So since it is not, you see, we have this possibility of making everything, making up words in Sanskrit. So, janati iti jnaha. Then you can add something, Sarvam janati, knows all, sarvajnaha. Ghatam janati, knows how to make a pot, ghatagnaha. Is a weaver, knows how to make cloth, patagnaha. Then sarvam janati, sarvajnaha. So this jnaha, if you add at the end, or jna, if you want to make it female. So then, if you add that at the end, then you have this idea of the knower of something. And then here, since it's not specified, here the Nyani is for short form for the Jnani is Jnaha. Since the Prakritam topic, the topic here at hand is Atmajnanam, Jnaha doesn't, we are not going to take Jnaha as the knower of civil engineering. Okay. So from the context, we know that what we are talking about is the person who is the knower of the self. And then the opposite of that is not the knower of the self. And here, Maharshi has a very good name for the not know, the one who doesn't know oneself, a tree stump. Okay, Jadaha, meaning you prick and prod and poke the person, no response, like a rock, sitting there like a rock, meaning they not using the brain cells for which they were given, has made pickle out of the brain cells. Okay, and then what? Then gyaha and jadaha, gyajadau. So since there are two, the dual ending is given. So gyajadau samanau. Oh, what is the first part saying? That there is one similarity between the Jnani and the Agnyani. Oh, really? What is that? Both of them have a body to claim. With reference to this body, both of them have a body identification to claim. They each have a body that they experience. So, this I have told many times. So, if you sneak up behind the Guru and instead of saying Bho Guru in Sanskrit, you try to frighten the Guru and say Boo Guru, and then you wait to test the Guru and see whether the Guru will jump or not. If the Guru jumps, then one can conclude, oh, maybe the Guru doesn't know that they are not the body. Maybe this is the kind of test one can do. Students think of a lot of things, you see. And like this, sometimes the students will come up with a test in the what is that? Um, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, a story is told. One student wanted to test the Guru, Ramakrishna himself. And so, what did he do? He put some gold coins under the Guru's mattress and then waited and watched what will happen. And the next morning, he was the first among the students to go greet the Guru. How did you sleep? He asked. Meaning, if the Guru had said, terrible, I just tossed and turned all night. Oh, the student would have thought, so much vairagya, so much dispassion. I have a true Guru. This is all nonsense. This is all nonsense. And because this is just a very subjective understanding of this. Because really, if the person is Agnyani, the Bhagavad Gita would describe such a person as Samaloštashma Kanchanaha, the one who has the same attitude towards gold, towards a lump of iron or a clod of earth. It means the same. So it's not that one hates gold. And if you hate gold, then you're not, obviously not a jnani. And so what did Ramakrishna say? Somebody tried to make me very uncomfortable. Some idiot put some gold coins. I took them out and then had a good sleep or something like that, he said. So like this, this is kind of strange, testing and all. So if somebody were to think, because, there is some kind of a spiritual romanticism. And such stories are there all over the spiritual circles. Like there is one more like this story. What is that? How does that go? Yeah, two men were talking about their gurus. One of them said, my guru is so enlightened that he doesn't need to eat, he doesn't need to sleep, nor does he ever go to the bathroom. And the other one said, my guru is so enlightened that when he is hungry, he eats, when he is sleepy, he sleeps, and he goes to the bathroom whenever he wants. And so, this is the whole idea. It's like, this is this subjective understanding of what a jnani should be doing. Agnyani should be doing this, Agnyani should be manifesting something, Agnyani should be doing miracles. Why aren't you changing the weather? And because this is the whole idea, that this is how the people have some kind of a spiritual romanticism here. and it looks like Ramana Maharshi is kind of trolling them. And the first line he says, there is something in common with the Jnani and Agnyani. Both of them have some, some element of being connected to a single body, mind, sense complex. That is a fact. The Agnyani also has a body, mind, sense complex that he calls his or she calls hers. This is my body. A Jnani also may say, this is my body. Nothing wrong in saying that. Okay? And so both of them are saying that there is nothing wrong. But then that is where the similarity ends. Why? What happens? Ekasya, for the first one, for the one, which one? Jnasya, for the one which is described as Jnaha, Tasya, Jnasya, for that one, Dehe Hridi Deepta Atma. In the body, he or she is aware that it is pervaded by this I, which, having entered or conquered this body, it has pervaded through to cover the entire Jagat. So this body is just one akara, one namarupa that this Atma is pervading. And even though I call this my body, it is reaching out to all bodies. The Sampurnan Jagat, the whole Jagat, it is enveloping. It is enveloping the entire Jagat. Whereas Parasya, the second one, the latter, the other, Mayam means his or her measurements. Tanu matram atma, the body itself is atma. Body itself is atma. So this is the very, very beautiful verse. And one more verse is also there just like this. So, Dehatma Bhave Jadau Samanau, with reference to the body, claiming a particular body to be one's own, the what's its name? The Jnani and the Agnyani, the person of knowledge and the person of ignorance, have something in common. Both of them claim a particular body as their very, very own. Ekasya dehe hridi deepta atma. For the one, the body is what? The body is just a house for the atma. The body is just a house for the atma. But for the other one, the other one comes to wrong conclusions after experiencing the body and conditions of the body like hunger, thirst, pain, etc. So for the Jnani, the meaning of the word I is not just the body. Atma dehe deeptaha. The Atma is that which lights up the body, pervades the mind, pervades the presence of thoughts, lights up even the absence of thoughts. So the Jnani would say, I remain pervading my body and the whole universe also I'm pervading. I'm a whole universe. This body is my body. I am life without boundaries. I am this sentient consciousness without any boundaries. This is what the Jnani would say. Whereas the poor Agnyani, what will the Agnyani say? This body is me. This body is me. And I'm having problems. I'm having so many shortages. I'm experiencing limitations, etc. This is a very important verse because it puts to rest a number of subjective conclusions. Subjective conclusions about how Agnyani should be in the world. This is exactly what Arjuna was curious about in that whole exchange with Lord Krishna towards the end of the second chapter. What does he say? He says, Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. How does the person of knowledge talk? How does the person for whom this knowledge is established, how do they walk? What do they eat? How do they eat? Do they talk slowly or do they talk very, very fast? What do they do? This is what he wants to know because he wants to pick out a Jnani from the crowd and say, ha, this one is a Jnani, I want to be able to tell. But that's not how it works. In fact, if one goes with these kinds of assumptions, then one will be very disappointed and, in fact, might miss the Jnani even though the Jnani is sitting right next to them. They might miss them totally. Why? Because you're looking for certain lakshana that have really no meaning. Because, if you take a South Indian jnani and then ask them, what do you want? They will say idlis and dosas. Naturally, because that's what they are used to eating. Very likely that they might do that. If you take North Indian, if you ask a North Indian jnani, what do you want for breakfast? They will say, please give me some parathas and a nice big glass of milk and some jalebis. Some from Punjab, some Punjabi Mahatma, if you talk to, maybe they will want that food that they are accustomed to. But then, if one goes with this kind of an idea how a jnani should be, and they should be different, and sometimes these so-called what should I say, God, self-styled God men and God women, they also come under certain pressure to show off. Like one such religious leader, spiritual leader, not religious, spiritual leader, uh, had it broadcast that he never went to the bathroom ever, and he invited a group of people to come and check his whole quarters and everything. It was and his kutia, and then there was no bathroom at all. And they went away and wrote articles, and he became famous as never going to the bathroom Baba. Then after he died away, then after the Babaji died away, passed away, then they found under the bed there was a carpet. Under the carpet, there was a trap door. Under the trap door, there was a narrow set of stairs, and beneath that narrow set of staircase, then there was a bathroom there. Why go through all this trouble for just a natural bodily function? I don't understand. I mean, what if he had to go in a hurry? Think of all the things you have to first move the bed and then move the carpet, open the trap door, and then go down the stairs. All this needless, totally needless. And then this, I myself saw in Rishikesh, this, what is that? Pahunch Gaya Baba. Pahunch Gaya Baba means already reached. God only knows where. And then he is standing in the middle of one of those jhulas, Lakshman Jhula or Ram Jhula there, and asking for alms as sadhus do. But then he had some people with him. And then one lady was feeding him from the left, and and he would eat nicely from her hand, and another lady was feeding him from the right, and he would nicely eat from her hand too. And they said, our Babaji is so reached, is so already reached the all the lokas, that he is forever in a trance. If we didn't feed him, he would just waste away and die. He won't eat by himself, he won't do this, and therefore we had to we have to feed him. I had gone to this jhula with some people. The jhula means bridge, suspension bridge. And then I had gone there with some people, and they all we looked at each other, and this Baba was not in any danger of disappearing. At least from his physique, you could see that he was very well kept, no problem at all. And then, of course, everybody, started to ask They were asking me, why is it that if he cannot eat, how is it that he goes this way and takes a bite from this lady and then goes that way? And in the middle, he would let some food dribble, and a third person would very reverentially wipe it off. Well, this is not necessary. These are all posturings. And whether it's some kind of a posturing to in order to look like what I not look like a jnani, but in order to look like what I think a jnani should look like, is unnecessary pressure, because the change here is not physical change between the jnani and the ajnani. It's a cognitive shift. That's why whoever asks, I say, even people ask me, can Vedanta make you pain free? No. The answer is no. Can Vedanta stop you from experiencing biological pain? No. Can Vedanta take away all your problems? No. Can Vedanta make you rich? Not in the way that you want. And, can Vedanta make you famous? Again, not in the way that you want. So then why am I studying this? What can Vedanta do? It will change you sufficiently and completely so that you are objective to your pain. What does that mean? You will say, this is, I am bigger than all my pains, all my sorrows. Let more come. It doesn't matter. Let less come. It doesn't matter. That is the idea. Vedanta makes you grow bigger than all your pains and sorrows and difficulties, so that if you are bigger than your difficulties, then the difficulties are like those people in Gulliver's Travels. What are they? Land of Lilliput. All small, small fellows, easily overpowered. And so that is what Vedanta does. So there is no need of a posturing on the part of the so-called Nyani wannabe who wants to show off as though he or she is a Jnani. No need. Just be yourself. There's nothing, as long as you know, I am in this body, but I am not, I'm as though in this body, but I'm not of this body. I am all pervasive. That is what we have to see. That is the idea here. It's a wonderful verse. So, akramya deham cha. So, this Atma having possessed, so to speak, the body, it has gone on to lay its claim over the whole Jagat. I am that. So, this self is not only informing this body, but all the bodies. And parassa mayam means, whatever is, the jnanam there, that the measured jnanam. So whatever you can measure in whatever is in the head of the Agnyani, tanumatram atma. Atma is as good as the body. So that's that what happens as a result of that. Dehe pushte aham pushtaha. If the body is fortified, I am okay. Dehe nashte, aham nashtah. If the body is gone, I am gone. If the body is thin, I am thin. Oh no, if the body is fat, I am fat. If the mind is restless, I am restless. And so, like this is how this wrong misidentification with this particular body mind sense complex, taking the mithya body to be satyam, is the cause of sorrow and pain. The jnani also can have physical pain, no problem, can have pain, because the jnani's body is also aging. It follows the same laws of nature as the Agnyani's body. So the Jnani's body is changing, the Jnani's body is aging, Agnyani's body is also aging. Agnyani falls sick, the Jnani also falls sick. What is the difference? Agnyani complains. Why me? Why did I get this? I don't need this. I was already stressed. When will I be blessed? Why should I be stressed all the time? Why, of all the people, why me? And what does the Jnani say? The Jnani says, why not me? It had to happen to somebody. It happened to me. Theek hai, no problem. This is how it is. So that why me is slowly converted in the heart through self-knowledge. Why not me? Why not? It had to happen to somebody. It happened. Oh, but how did this happen to me? It happened. And so, oh, I have so much karma. That's another karma complex. Oh, I have a terrible karma. Because of this, I had a terrible childhood, heavy, unconscious. Oh no, I have so many complexes. Karma, you don't remember, right? You don't know what you did. So why you have to be bothered about that? And the better, the sooner you disidentify with the karma, the better it is. Just say it's okay, it's done. And it's not, this is not, the karma is not going to decide. This is very, very important. Listen carefully. Your karma is not going to decide whether you gain this knowledge or not. Why? Because moksha is not prarabdha, it is purushartha. That's why dharma, artha, kama, moksha, they are purusharthas. It's not prarabdha. Prarabdha means ordained. It's not ordained. Oh, you'll never get moksha. Who said? Who said that? You have to try. There are certain conducive aspects, no doubt. Some people may have a easier time coming to the knowledge. There is not that many obstacles perhaps, and once there they understand it, they are allowed to pursue it without needing to go here there and look for this one, look for that one, and some kind of authority issues, not being able to be comfortable with the teacher, and then keeping on changing teachers because something happened and then something else happened. All this is not there. For some people it is, yes, it's a little easier, but that doesn't mean that you are denied moksha. Even though it may be a little difficult, or maybe there is a little obstacle here or there, but it is your purushartha that is going to decide. Otherwise, how could there have been a Pujya Swamiji? No possibility at all. You look at his life, eldest out of 4 sons, father passed away at age 8, and and then the child was seen playing with his friends outside as the body of the father lay in the house, and visitors were coming before the cremation. And an uncle went and told him, what does it look like? Here your father is lying dead and you are playing. And the child asked, if I don't play, will the father come back to life? And the uncle did not have any answer to give. And then, you think about the pressure. In that time period of India's history, the eldest son in the family was supposed to take care of everybody. And that too, a fatherless eldest son. Think of how much he had to struggle to make sure that everybody was, all right. He had to take care of the family business, take up various jobs, send the mother money. And when he decided, and such a person would never decide to pursue this. But then when he decided against a mountain of objections from the mother, from the relatives, from, practically ostracized. How could you do this to her? But then everything turned around. He did what he was supposed to do. He did what he came here to do, despite odds, despite all odds. Nobody becomes a Nyani because of their circumstances. Very, very rarely. People are attracted to this life, and people are attracted to this knowledge, and they gain the knowledge despite themselves and despite their circumstances. That is where the thing is. This is not just about Pujya Swamiji, although that is a very inspiring story, but you look at other stories of other saints, Kabir, Surdas, Mirabai, and not just in this country, any holy person's life, it is never a picnic. It's always fraught with a lot of difficulties needing to be surmounted. And so the person who shows courage in the face of the difficulties is a very important qualification for moksha. Moksha is not written in your horoscope. No, it is not. It cannot be. Because it is a purushartha. Purushartha means it is something you pursue from your free will. It is not destiny. And it's a gain of something that is already gained. This is something you have to desire to know. And therefore, this feeling like I have been targeted and I have so much pain and so much sorrow, I can't do anything. That is just something that one has to help oneself to crawl out of that space once and for all. Then, Bhagavan will bless. In fact, there is a very nice verse in the Mahabharata. Udyamam sahasam dhairyam buddhi shaktif parakramah षडेते yatra vartante tatra devas sahayakrit. When you have 6 things, Bhagavan lends a helping hand. And Udyamam, hard work, Sahasam, courage. Sahasam means the enthusiasm to finish it. And then Dhairyam, courage. Buddhi, intelligence, using the wherewithal of whatever there is you're gifted with. Shakti, resources. Parakramaha, the ability to not procrastinate and the ability to see this through to the end. When these 6 qualities, when you help yourself to these 6 qualities in full measure, then Bhagavan, in that time, in that place, Bhagavan lends a helping hand. That is the idea. You can test it and see if that works. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.